Good afternoon, everybody. Well, this is a little bit of carpo philosophy, I guess, so take it for what you will. Uh, as we always do, right? The philosophy of today would be this term. I guess I'll start off. I wasn't quite sure how to address this subject of this video because there really is no word for it. It's this, I guess, the Zen approach, the ineffable, the unspoken, the unspeakable. But I heard a term today, I guess a little line that I could start out with, which might explain it. And it was, the great way is an easy path in life for those who don't have expectations. Am I going to ruin this by not remembering the actual? You know what? I wrote it down. Give me 2 seconds. All right. Okay. It was written down on the table there. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. Okay. Now, no preferences meaning that when we prefer things to be a certain way, when we have expectations about our surroundings, our lives, it's really easy for us to become disillusioned when things don't work out the way we want them to. And in my life, I'm the kind of person who doesn't tend to make many plans. I tend to be very last minute. And I think that to a degree, this comes from that fear of not wanting plans to fall through. Not really a fear of plans falling through, but rather being more acceptant of things when they're not expected to be a certain way, if that makes sense. I know people who, when plans change or something happens, that they get really upset. They plan out this vacation or this whole trip. They become all consumed with this one little moment of their lives. But some people plan their entire life, and that's what I mean in the metaphorical sense. The bigger picture is that we plan our careers, we plan our retirements, we plan our children. At least this is all theoretical. Those of us who have children know that most people don't plan their children. Most people don't plan the careers they end up in. Things just happen the way they happen. And by realizing that and allowing things to just happen instead of expecting things to be a certain way, or demanding that life bring things to you that you want, not just material, but spiritual, physical, mental needs. When you stop resisting, they come. The great way, as I would define it, is the one true path as a human being that brings the most contentment and enlightenment within a human's life, within the paradigm that they're given, the framework of their particular environment, as well as their social status, their expectations, their family obligations. In some cultures, the first 20 years of your life is for learning and educating. The second 20 years of life is for raising a family, giving to the young and to the old. And then the latter part of the life, say from age 40 to 60, that 20-year period is for service to spirit, to God, to whatever you choose as the greatness in your life. And then from then on, a person can do whatever they like, in a sense. That after that, the age of 60, a person can apply all these things to their lives and decide how they're going to, it's kind of like free play time, if you will. And of course, it can all be free play time if you view it that way. Or it could be all work time, or all service time. And each one of you as individuals is going to choose how much time you dedicate to these things throughout the day and throughout the life. And these ideas will change. Condemning another person because they don't share the same feelings, same paths. They're not as moved about the same things as we are. This is where intolerance comes into play and where we lose each other. And this is due to forgetting that the most important factor is to remember that there is no you and I. Now, there's only one organism. And science is finally starting to realize this over, we spent so long thinking that the earth was put here for our needs. And then we spent a lot of time thinking that, well, maybe it wasn't put here for us, but we can dominate and control it to our will. And then we finally realized that we are at the will of nature, that nature is us, and that we are nature, and we are an integral part of each other. And this should be just knowledge. This should be something that's taught to people from the time that they are children, that we are all one. In many religions, even, they'll claim, in a person's heart, they'll feel that we're all one, that we're all loved, that we're all under the same umbrella, yet at the same time divide us by our souls, separate us by our essences, by saying, if you do this, you will go to hell, so on and so forth. Or there are these realms for these souls, forgetting the big picture, everything comes together in the end, that we are really all just one organism. When somebody makes a mistake in our society, is it our responsibility to punish them? What if it's only affecting themselves and not us? An example, I guess, would be the fact that suicide is illegal in many places. I don't know how many, but maybe even most places. Killing yourself is considered against the law. That law had to be put into effect. Anybody who goes to kill themselves is obviously not going to give a damn about the law. But what it does is it tells society that we frown upon this, that we see it as something immoral and wrong. And all of this stems from our separation from death. As I heard someone say earlier in a lecture I was listening to, it was Ram Dass, who was saying, when we're children, we are, I should say, there was a time, say, in decades past, when we wanted to block out the birth process. Sex was considered something, not to talk about. Having babies was something that people did on their own. And we didn't really celebrate birth. We just celebrated material gain once the baby's finally to the age where he can start making money and earning his way and having a real life. And then today we're in the same predicament, but we're ignoring death. Just like we always have. It's like we finally began to celebrate birth, in a sense, and we're beginning to finally celebrate death. Being with ourselves in the realization that we are all going to die. It's a subject that people find taboo or don't even want to bring up. It's just reality. It's just reality. And if you can't face that reality, then, there's very little that you're going to be able to do in the terms of spiritual growth or finding your true happiness or contentment within this world, as far as I can see. That as long as we're denying that we are one being, and as long as we are denying that there is something greater than ourselves that we don't understand, and as long as we're denying our own piece of the puzzle, denying our own lives, so to speak, living vicariously through others, whether it be celebrities or whoever, or whether other people live vicariously through us and we just get so egotistical that we think we have it all figured out. Those who stop growing because they give up, and those who stop growing because others have told them that they're such great people that they take it to heart and figure they're just done, that they've finally accomplished being, a known person, a respected individual. Only when you respect yourself does any of that matter. The irony here would be, I guess not irony, but coincidence, as my mom was talking about Donald Trump earlier, and I said I don't want to talk about it. I refuse to talk about that man because he's just a distraction. You know, the whole political system's a distraction. I haven't watched any of the political crap. I will when the time is right, but I don't want to hear about Donald Trump. But then I was listening to a Ram Dass lecture, that one I was just quoting from, and he said, he mentioned Trump, and this is like a 20-year-old lecture, and he says how sad it is that in society we have begun to idolize people like Donald Trump, who only seek to keep a stronger separation between the rich and the poor. And I thought, this is 20 years ago when he was merely a man with money. And here he is running for president of the United States. And it's mere distraction. And it keeps us, keeps people talking about it. Just like the Kardashians and all these other things that I dare not talk about. Because I'm bringing them up to make a point here. Is that the more that we talk about these people and these things, the more we obsess over celebrities, over status, we see what it's doing to our system and to our world. Donald Trump being, when people say, oh, he's the hottest guy on the ticket, or that he's got the most followers, all that means is that he has the most amount of people who love to watch the entertainment and watch the show. These aren't people that would really vote for this man for president. But the man is so egotistical that it leads one to wonder if he really, really, truly believes what he's saying, and I have come to the conclusion that he does. And it's very revealing, although this is just one man among, thousands of selfish, greedy bastards with large egos that I don't despise for their money at all. It has nothing to do with that. It's the attitude that comes with it. And Donald Trump is a perfect example of that. But anyway, it's a letdown to see people like that being even talked about. People like that should be scoffed at, should be ridiculed, and publicly humiliated, as he is by many people. And he can't take it, by the way. And I'm using him as an example because there's people like him all over the world where if you try to talk bad about them, they just go ballistic. And they deserve to be called out because they're not just individuals doing their own thing, they're part of this whole as well, this all, and they need to be confronted on that. So anyway, I'm getting way off base and off topic. I just wanted to really get to the idea that we are all one, whether we like it or not, and what harms one harms all, and to not resist and not force ourselves to be something, to just let it happen, just have trust. And this comes down to, I guess, faith to a degree, but it's not just misplaced blind faith. It's faith through experience of when I do this, this happens, and when I do this, this happens. So I bid you all adieu, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.